Hello Sadia, welcome to Wanja's Health Diary. This week we marked the Zero Tolerance Day against FGM. What's your interest in this area and how did you get so involved?
I got myself as an activist and as an FGM survivor, and I'm also a champion. For me, I would say for men, they're really resistant because they feel it's a taboo for a woman to stand in front of them talking about private issues, because FGM is like it's a private issue and you are now bringing it to the public. Again, a woman standing in front of them is also, in terms of tradition, it's not allowed. So I faced a lot of resistance, especially from men and from women. They were telling me, what if no man, how will men marry our daughters? Because no man is ready to marry a cat girl.
Is it true that
no,
girls are not eligible for marriage if they're not, have not undergone FGM?
It's not true, because that's their perception, and I think that's one of the missing gaps when we are tackling ending FGM. When I was 10 years old, that's why I'm able to talk about FGM, because I was like, I know exactly what happened to me. I was taken to the bush with my mother and also close relatives and other women. They took me to the bush, and my grandmother was the cut actually. You know, during the cut, those women put a piece of cloth into your mouth. You can't even make a sound. Some are holding your legs, some are now directing the cutter what to do if there is something left out. 2 hours later, after the cut, I started shivering and I started feeling now the pain coming itself. And that's the point I started asking myself a lot of questions. Now the procedure is over. Why am I feeling this terrible pain? But again, my mom told me it will take like a month for you to heal. And that's why she was monitoring me day in, day out. After 7 days, the cutter now comes, examines whether you are progressing or not. But there is no painkiller. They don't even use anesthesia to ease your pain. It's you and the blood and your wound to heal. So when I was completely healed, I thought everything was back to normal, and I continued with my education. But again, when I now gave birth to my daughter, that's when I started now feeling that there was something different with the way we are. Now after delivering, I started looking at my daughter and I said, what will happen to the life of my daughter? 20 years coming. What will be the situation of my daughter? Will she be like me, laying on bed, crying like me? Or will she be happy and maybe carrying her baby with a lot of happiness and that? Now, after I went through all those complications, I said, no, we are different and FGM must stop. Yes. If we now take FGM as a violation of human rights, that means whether you do it at hospital, in the bush, or at home, FGM is FGM, and you are violating the right of that person. So now, when a health practitioner performs that FGM, it doesn't make lesser. FGM had been there, yes, it's a culture, but it's a harmful cultural practice that should not be encouraged. Culture is something that gives pride to specific communities, to specific countries, to specific people. But when we talk of FGM, how does FGM give me an identity? How can you even differentiate whether I have undergone FGM or not? It's not something that gives you identity. And if it's that case, it cannot be a culture. It cannot give you pride. It cannot be a cultural thing. Yes. We want to see many girls who are role models, who are not cut, now standing in front and saying, I have not been cut. Yes, I am learned, I'm this, I'm that. I want to see many people championing for FGM, and I want to see zero FGM in 3 years' time. We need more mentorships. I would like to see in 3 years coming, Tana River having a rescue center whereby these girls can feel safe in that rescue center. And I would want to see religious leaders proudly standing in front of communities and saying, yes, we delivered. I want to see those actions in hinterlands, in the rural areas where FGM is highly practiced. Thank you.